I very recently on the show made a promise that you'll never see my butthole, and I'm gonna stick with it. But
all right,
you can't make the same promise.
Then you're not gonna make movie magic. Adam did.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. You won't have a #1 movie on Netflix for 2 weekends in a row like we did with Game Over, man. Sorry about it.
We are in Jersey City this Thursday, July 13th at White Eagle Hall. Tickets are available in the description below. Fantastic. Come out.
I've been wanting to come on here for a while.
Come on.
I don't know who you are.
Hold on for a second. I'm going to move this.
Yeah, sir.
Sure. I don't know why it's so far away.
Good, you brought it. Good, you have it. Thanks.
What's up?
Everything feels off.
Everything always feels off. Like, things just slide in here, I think.
Are you guys just like moving this, like gaslighting me? Move it like an inch every day? Is this too close now?
I don't know.
You're in all white. I got nervous about you gonna spill it or something.
Dude, I don't know. They put me in close. I feel like I'm playing like movie star dress up.
Do they really?
Yeah. Because I'd come dressed in a fucking trash bag.
That Todd Snyder shirt looks nice.
It does look like a Todd Snyder. Isn't it?
Hey,
Maybe.
Seems real.
What's up, Todd?
Todd in the body.
You good to go? All right, let's do it. I'm always interested in that. So, like, do you have say in what you wear, or they literally just throw it at you and?
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
and
one
then
second.
oh yeah, she has to make.
Oh,
sure
we gotta touch it for sure,
dude. It's a whole thing. They really want me to
get
be.
it. No.
I feel like they want me to be
Beautiful.
20% more handsome than I actually am. So it's a lot of.
That is so perfect.
Yeah, they're
I'm
like.
sure they're like, you know, what would be great. Like if Adam was
If
just
it
a
was
little
just
bit
like
hotter.
a little, like, yeah, he's funny, blah blah blah, but like, and he's good looking enough. Like there was a joke in Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates where it's like, yeah, he's like a good looking guy if a good looking guy is standing in a funhouse mirror. Like it's like a little off. And that's how I feel like my agents and publicists and all those people are like, yeah, and make sure he's not dressed in a garbage sack, and make sure he has enough powder on his forehead.
We had the first time we ever had DeStefano on. Chris DeStefano, a very funny comedian. He said to me,
Oh, this is nice but brutal. At the same
he
time.
said, "You have leading man hair and best friend face." Yeah. And I was like, that stuck with me forever. Bro, that was like 6 years ago.
But honestly,
like, that's
honestly,
like,
I'll take it. You know what I mean?
I know, you'll take it until you get it, and then you're like,
well, listen, I
wish I had something else.
Yeah, when it hits so close to home, that's when it really sticks with you. You're like,
that was in my core. Yep.
Okay, so they say it too. They see it too.
I've been told everything. I get celebrity lookalikes, but they'll always be like, "You look like his like special needs brother or the ugly version of," and I'm like,
okay. If you look up, does Adam DeVine? It fills in have Down syndrome, and that's not a joke. That's not a joke, and it shouldn't be canceled. Laughing too hard.
that is.
But I swear to God, it does. It does, and I keep saying on podcasts too. I'm like willing it even more into existence, so it'll like never go away.
It's like,
what would be great? Because listen, your career is amazing, and we'll talk all about it in a minute. But if you did all of that with Down syndrome,
yeah,
it would be an all-time story.
Yeah, it would be.
So maybe we should start floating a little more. I don't know. Maybe
I'm leaning into it. For sure.
Shane Gillis has a joke on stage. He always goes, I kind of dodged it. It almost got me. Because it nicked me.
I think I've seen that. It's I get that same too. It's like you're Mark Wahlberg's like fatter, uglier, younger brother. Or maybe older brother. And I'm like, no, he's like 15 years older than me. But like I can't tell. You could be way old or like very young.
Are so rude, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't really care at the end of the day, but I'm just like, who
crying
raised
right now.
you,
You're
bro?
crying right now. Yeah. I don't really care. At the end of the day, I don't really care. At the
It
end of the
doesn't
day.
bother me, but if you bring up the topic, I have memories about it.
I can tell you everything that happened 7 years ago.
And it bothers me all day, but at the end of the day, that's when I let it go and I go to sleep.
Only in front of microphones do I talk about it.
It wakes me up in the middle of the night.
It's just like, why do you say like, or like, we'll do a live show and we do a picture afterwards, and they'll be like, I like him a lot better than you, and I'm like, Take the fucking picture, man.
Thanks,
like,
man.
What do you want me to
Thanks.
say to that?
Yeah.
Happy you like him.
You have to stand there for a few more seconds. Like, I'm already hugging you.
Hover
Can I-
handing,
Yeah.
Can I not? Can I take the hug?
I'm holding
back?
your lower back as a man, so maybe we just,
just so
take
weird,
the photo.
right?
Yeah.
like I will always take as many pictures, and I don't begrudge anybody who wants to do it, but I just could never. I just wouldn't
What,
be
you
like,
get
let
the
me just
small
go
of
up
the
to you and
back.
kind of hug you.
Yeah,
For just like 3
stand
seconds.
there. Yeah.
And then tell someone to take it again because the flash didn't work or whatever. You know, it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah, it's always amazing when someone wants to take a photo with me because I'm like, me? Like, there's like
Bro, you
really
think about
cool
how
people
we
out there.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
he goes, I
get it.
That's a good point.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I get it.
Like, what? You're legitimate, man. Like, people should want to take pictures with you. With us, it's like, you want me to take one of you and your friend?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Dude, speaking of, you said as a man earlier, and new movie Outlaws on Netflix. I have not a rule, but like I get uncomfortable if I bring up like intimate scenes with
As a man, you do.
an actor where I'm like, dude, you got to kiss so and so. Like that's
yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
But having said all that, bro, you got to kiss Pierce Brosnan.
Dude, I will say,
If you
I've
know about
kissed-
Dan here, that's number one on the
Yeah.
list.
Dude, that was
Yeah.
like I was watching it last night. I was like, oh, the kiss kid, like that's
Yeah.
fucking sick. Dude.
I've kissed some hunks in my day. I kissed Pierce. I kissed Zac Efron. I'm
Yeah.
I got a little laundry list of hunks.
Honestly, I genuinely think that's better than making out with some of the hot chicks of the world.
Way better.
Like I think
way
it's
better.
a better story.
Oh, for sure, a
You know
better
what I mean?
story.
Like,
Yeah.
Because really, at
Well,
the
you're a
end of the day,
weirdo if you're like at a bar being like, I kissed, whoever.
I kissed Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
Okay, weirdo.
You're like, yeah, in a movie that you're paid to do it? Yeah. You're not dating her right now, are you? No,
yeah, she hated every second of it, dude.
No.
She never wanted to do that.
Yeah. There was an intimacy coordinator right off to the side going like, are you okay? Are you okay?
Do you consent?
Yeah, do you?
Well, Pierce, we were kissing off screen.
Yeah. A lot of practice runs, a lot of dry runs.
Yo, he is the man.
Dude, he's so cool. Like,
he's older than I realized too. He's up there, and
Is
he
he?
still looks
Yeah,
awesome.
and he's still, like,
he's in like his 70s.
more athletic than I am, and like just a jock, and like he also like I work out all the time to maintain this. Like I work out every day to maintain this. Like what's gonna happen when I'm 70? Like I'm just gonna look like a sack of fucking potatoes. And this guy doesn't work out. I'm like, what do you do? What do you do to work out? And he goes,
I'm rich.
but yeah,
What do you mean?
What do you mean? I'm worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And I'm like, he did say that, but he was
what I
like, he's like, I just go golfing, and I'm like,
Hey, I guess that's enough sometimes.
I think even rich helps, no doubt. But Europeans, they always say it's because they don't eat the same kind of foods as us. And he's
he's been
what,
living
Scottish?
in America for like 40 years.
No, it's well, you're born with it, man.
Well,
when you're a Euro, you're
you know
born
what?
with it. And
Not only
again,
that,
he is European,
but
right?
dude,
Is he Welsh? Or is he
he's
Scottish?
Irish.
He's Irish?
And I'm like, motherfucker, I'm Irish.
I was gonna say
like,
Irish is not European.
yeah, I'm like,
Irish
that's
is Irish.
not, dude. I have an Irish body. Like, I
Yeah,
do.
that's
Yeah,
not Irish.
my face turns all red. I have like 2 drinks at night. My fucking eyes bulge out of my head. I like big old bags.
Irish is not like I know what you're talking about. That's like Spanish and Italian,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, you're right.
Mediterranean. That's European. Irish is fucking Irish.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing.
Just
I'll
chugging
tell you what it
Guinness.
is. It's the name. If your name is Pierce Brosnan, I hope that's his real name. It's not a stage name.
Yeah, I
don't
think
know.
it is.
That is like you're gonna be something.
Yeah.
CEO, an actor,
You
a
got
hunk
it
of some sort.
See, I'm like thinking because my wife and I are thinking about having kids soon, and I'm like, you got to pick a name that there's
Fulfill
no
the
way
destiny.
they can't be successful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, and I already have a pretty cool last name. DeVine, I would say, is
Right?
a good
So
last
okay,
name.
let's name your firstborn.
Pierce DeVine. Yeah,
There we
did
go.
it. Yeah. I'm like, I hope that's not weird for my boy Brosnan that I'm for sure naming my child after him. But I'm doing it.
What?
The Outlaws, July 7th, only on Netflix.
I had a buddy when I was younger, and he's still a friend of mine, but more when I was younger, where I was obsessed with his middle name. It's just Logan. And
Logan DeVine,
I thought,
not a bad name.
I think to this day, I think Logan is a cool
Solid.
ass name.
Logan
Granted, it's
DeVine.
Wolverine's name, which probably helps.
Yeah.
it,
But
like,
yeah, those things matter.
Or
I don't even-
Wolverine.
or
Just call right to the
Wolverine
chase.
DeVine.
Yeah.
Call him,
He's
you know,
going to be a UFC
call him
fighter or
Vereen.
something. Yeah, he just is out there hitting trees as a youth. You're like, train, be stronger.
knock you
Your
down.
bones
first.
are metal. Yeah.
Imagine if you did like name your kid Pierce and you saw him again, you're like, hey man,
Hey,
or
he's
like
I saw
I saw that thing.
a headline that you named your son Pierce after
The promotion for the movie, like movie so good, Adam DeVine named his son Pierce.
yeah. The stunts these actors pull to get people to watch their damn movies, man.
It is such a good movie, though.
Thanks,
It's one of those things like going into it. Like with rom-coms are so hit or miss. I feel like a rom-com is either going to be like, that was fucking awesome, that was a great hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it is, or you're like, what did I just see?
Well, I feel like you got to rom-coms. Like comedy went through a weird phase where like comedy wasn't cool anymore.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like so everyone was trying to do comedy but disguise it as something else. So like the rom-coms, it was too rom.
Yeah.
Like, there's too much goddamn rom in
I say it all
here.
the time.
Bring out more com.
Yes,
And so
we need
that's what
com-roms
this
is what we need.
We
Put the
need
comedy
com
first.
Yeah, exactly. This is a com rom, an action com rom.
Action
Yeah.
comedy.
Yeah.
The action's fucking sick, too.
Dude, that's what I love about the movie is it starts off and it feels like a small romantic comedy movie, and then like 20 minutes in, it just like blasts off, and there's like a crazy car chases and bank, like I don't want to spoil anything, but like huge bank robberies,
There's
and
big
like,
ass shootouts.
Yeah.
Like
And the
you get a
shootouts
taste
are
of that.
funny. It's particularly the one in the cake shop. I was fucking laughing. It's a good ass movie. Now that I'm talking about it, I'm getting more excited. It's a good ass movie.
Yeah,
dude.
thanks, man. I'm really excited
mean
for
this.
it.
You need to become somehow the tastemaker, like
Yeah.
critic. Like when it comes to these movies, you know what he just did? He watched the entire Fast and the Furious series in a row,
sick.
24 hours, and he recorded every car accident. He was on a live stream for 24 hours straight. Like he is the maven when it comes to these like fun action like type movies. And like if he says it's good, like it's gonna.
I
be.
love that, dude. I mean, you could tell I'm proud of it. I'm wearing my all whites. I'm out here at Barstool wearing my whites.
Gonna hit the tennis courts after.
I'm either going to be on a yacht this afternoon or I'm out here promoting a movie, rocking my whites.
I feel I've always thought that Pitch Perfect is like the standard for rom-coms. I mean, I guess that's almost this extra element with music as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, to me, that was a movie that was like goes beyond the rom-com where it's like let's just call it a good movie. We don't need to put a label on it. Whatever. That's just good.
Thank God that movie worked. I remember because it was like we had done season 1 of Workaholics. Season 1 had come out. We're finishing season 2, and when I got the offer to do the movie, and I'm like, was kind of torn because Workaholics was considered like kind of edgy and like
cool.
a little cool,
Yeah.
and
And acapella music was not.
and collegiate acapella music less so, I would say. And I brought it to my guys. I brought it to Durs and Blake, and I had the script, and I'm like, would you guys mind taking a look at this and just give me your thoughts? And Durs read like 30 pages. He's like, this is funny, dude. You'd be really funny in this. And I'm like, all right. And then Blake was like, yeah. And then cut to we're working late, like midnight, and we're like writing episodes, trying to finish. And he comes into my office. He's like, you can't do this movie, dude. You cannot do this movie.
No way.
This is going to bury all of our careers if you
the
go
fuck out.
and do a singing a cappella. So I was like torn. But then I was like, fuck you, I'm doing that.
Worst friend ever.
Kiss my ass.
Fast
I'm
forward
doing
to like bajillions of dollars in the box office or whatever.
Yeah, I was like, thank God I did that movie,
3
dude.
movies later. I mean that
Dude, I'm such a pussy. I'd be like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah.
I would be so.
you know why? Because
not even like
you're gonna bury all of us.
I would
I'd
be
be like,
like-
I'll take my own risk, but if I ruin my friend's career,
Yeah, but I
It's
knew that
gonna movie be
I
that
knew,
bad?
dude. I
don't
knew
even-
that wasn't real.
Yeah,
By the way,
yeah.
Blake he swears this never happened. I remember
of
it so
course.
viscerally,
Of
but he's
course.
like, I never said that. I'm like, fuck off. You did too. I know you did.
Dude, mine wouldn't even be about burying careers. It would be about I'm not giving my friend a leg up. Like, because like we'll be working at fucking whatever jobs we have, and he'll be like, "I fucking told you, dude."
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's what I would care
Right.
about more than
if he's right on this one,
Yeah.
I'll never hear the end of it.
Yeah.
I mean, never in a million years at the time that came out would I have told you that I wanted to see a rom-com movie about a cappella music.
Yeah.
But when I watched it, I remember do you remember what year it was?
I think 2012.
Yeah, so I'm like, how old am I at that point? I was 85, so I'm like in my 20s. We were in the Hamptons. We got a house for the
Yeah,
summer.
you're probably like
We're-
28. I think I'm like a couple years older than you, so I think you're probably like 25 or
Yeah,
24.
25, 26, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And we were like in the prime years of partying. Like we
Yeah.
would get a house for the summer and just like drink and just be animals from Memorial Day to Labor Day. And that summer, we watched Pitch Perfect at our house 1,000 times. And I was like, this movie's great,
please
bro.
don't stop the music. Bop, bop, bop.
Can I the drunk arguments I've had in the Hamptons screaming that the Troublemakers won the whole thing and that
dude,
the
we were
fellas
pretty
don't deserve it. I mean, I was like, are you kidding me? This is like it was a sporting event. Like it was. I mean,
Yeah,
I would never would have guessed it. So good on you for taking the risk because it was funny.
Yeah, it was a really funny script, and I was like, it was also like the first time I've ever been like one of the leads of like a studio movie.
Yeah.
Sure.
So like
Yeah.
I was like stoked on just that. I was
Yeah.
like, this is-
Stoked on craft services?
yeah, I was like all the good craft. Yeah. Because Workaholics, like they gave us like $3 to make that show. Our craft services sucked for like the first like 3 years, and then they're like,
How's the podcast game going?
sick. This is important.
This-
Promo mode. It's fun, dude.
I know. I yell at all of you people, all you
Yeah.
actual celebrities who come into our
I'm
industry.
sure. I'm sure. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there's only so many dollars.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
guess
yeah,
guess
yeah.
where they're going now? They're going with Mark Wahlberg's
Fucking
brother over here.
Meghan Markle's taking them all, not even doing the show.
That, what a move by her.
I just heard that. Yeah. I'm like,
She did
man,
12 episodes or something.
I want to
like that?
do that deal. Like, still get all the money and not have to
Where's
do
my
the damn
agent?
thing. Yeah. Like, come on, man.
I promise you, we don't get as many listeners. Actually, we probably get as many listeners as Meghan Markle's podcast
No
did.
doubt. Those two are they. I tip my cap because I don't think anybody actually likes them, but they just get all the attention. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Good for you.
Yeah, I mean, if only our parents were literal royalty, then we could cash in like them.
Or I was in a USA show. One or the other.
yeah.
Or
I actually
give him a good name like Pierce DeVine.
I have. I'm starting to have a bit of a conspiracy theory that this is all promo for Suits because it recently came on Netflix. And
Well, dude, I always
Suits?
made fun of, and I bet it's a good show, but I just thought it was a funny name for a show, like just guys in suits, and you call it Suits. I'm like, all right, I'm going to start a show called T-shirts.
Yeah.
You know? So I was
Gerard
just,
Butler in Plane. A
yeah.
great movie.
Great movie.
I bet it's pretty good. Yeah, but and now that it's on Netflix, I think just because I've heard about it so much, I'm like, maybe I check. Maybe I check.
It's a spin.
Yeah,
It's what you think it's going to be, but it's a great way to spend 40
It's just
minutes.
guys in nice tailored suits.
Yeah.
'Cause that's what I think it's going to be. Yeah.
Just doing that thing where they fix their cuffs.
Yeah, they're always
zoom in,
tucking
Which
it
is-
down.
pull it. Yeah.
The earlier you said something that for some reason I keep thinking about when you were like comedy wasn't cool for a while and people were trying to disguise it as other things. What were some good ones you think?
Well, I mean, I feel like the comedy. We were talking about this earlier. Like, even like in the early 2000s, there were 40-something comedies that came out every year.
It's nuts.
So there
It
was
was
two.
the thing.
Yeah. So there was like several comedies in studios would release. So every month. And then now there was something like 6 or 4 last year.
What happened?
way.
Yeah.
That low? I knew
Yeah,
it was
like
low.
that low. Like it's
yeah.
truly
I mean,
dead.
Think,
and the
think
only,
about it. What are the really like funny blockbuster type comedies?
They stopped
in
making
recent
them.
years. You can't even think of them.
Yeah, they stopped making
What
them.
did something happen in the industry, or that like we don't like? I mean, I would imagine with like the way like comedy and PC culture and cancel blah 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 went, like you had to be a little bit more safe.
Yeah, you had to be
don't take
less
some
funny.
risks.
Yeah.
I guess streaming changes things. Maybe a lot of that stuff went to streaming instead. But
I
it's not like we like. There's still a market for it. People love funny shit.
For sure. Well, I think that's why podcasts do so well now. It's like people get their fix of comedy that way. But it also like comedies became like so bloated and expensive, and they weren't getting the same bang for their buck. But at the same time, because there's not like no one has a real answer for it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think it's like superhero movies. People got so used to like going and seeing like $100 million like superhero
yeah.
movie. And then when they go and spend the same amount of money to go see like a little comedy where people are just being funny in a car or something,
Yeah.
they're like, that's not.
Yeah, but that's like I don't know. I think of those movies like Old School and that Will Ferrell run and those like
Yeah, but dude, we're
Superbad,
old now.
dude.
Like,
Yeah,
like
I
you think
know.
of like people like.
But so what are
if
those-
you were
what
if you
are-
were 25 years old right now and you didn't grow up on those movies because
Yeah.
for the past like 10 years they haven't been making those movies.
right. You think those are lame as shit.
You don't even know. It's like when like like old people were talking about the old Cheech and Chong movies. I'm like, well, that's not for me because that was like before.
But usually something takes its place, and in this case, it got replaced by something that's not comedy. It got replaced by like action.
Yeah, by
which,
like
whatever,
the comedy is in superhero movies.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah,
they're like,
couple
Thor's
jokes.
actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny, dude. And you watch it and you're like,
He made 2 jokes.
That's all right.
And I get that.
That being said, I would
like,
love
Tony
to
Stark's
be in
pretty
Thor.
good.
I'm not saying I don't like those movies.
You would be great in those movies.
Thanks, man.
You would, they need to find, like whenever there's like
They need
one
a
guy who's
squishy
a
little
comedic-
guy up there hobbling around.
Do you think comedies went more towards TV? Are there more? I guess even TV. I can't think. Like I still watch the 30 Rocks. The Parks and
now
Recs,
it's like every comedy is like. Well, that's what I say about like the Outlaws. I'm like, there's no hidden agenda.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to be at the end of this movie and go like, was that about global warming?
Right.
You know,
That's like the one.
you're not going to be like,
Don't Look Up was like a whole government lobbying.
You're not going to be at the end and be like, let's take down Big Pharma or whatever. It's just a funny action comedy, and you're hopefully you're gonna like it and think it's fun.
Right.
So
you know what? Is probably one of the like highest quality out there is Righteous Gemstones.
Oh yeah,
and I think the people who
Bro, how
know
are you
it,
doing so much right now? Like it's crazy.
You're busy as
You're
fuck.
like
Yeah,
your Righteous Gemstones just dropped, and you're not even here
That's not
promoting
what you're
that.
promoting.
You're promoting something else.
Yeah, Danny loves that. Danny's super pumped that I'm not talking about Righteous Gemstones. Check out the Righteous Gemstones. It's on
the people
Max
who
or
watch
whatever.
it and know it are like, this is fucking brilliant.
It's so fun, dude. And
I-
those guys are like,
I just want like the whole world to know it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you think that like it's
me too.
because of the comedy aspect of it that it doesn't really get like the attention? Like I feel like something like Succession, right? There were so many people talking, and I guess it kind of flies in the face of what you're saying. There isn't
but then people are like, it's actually pretty funny. And admittedly, I watch Succession, and I do think Cousin Greg is.
Yeah.
I think his character
to
makes
say
me
like
laugh.
that. That's not a comedy.
But
Dude,
yeah, it's not you're not like the whole point of the show isn't to make you laugh.
Right.
And that's the Righteous Gemstone is to make you laugh.
But when
with
people
a really good script,
Yeah.
and like a story, it's
when people love it so much, like it's such a great commentary on the Murdoch family.
Right.
You could make that same argument with it's just too
Totally.
funny.
Yeah,
Like, you
it's
can
just-
you're not thinking about the commentary first. You're thinking about the comedy first. Whereas
there's maybe a little too much dick in it.
I think this new season less dick.
Oh, I wasn't
Yeah.
speaking myself as personally. I'm speaking about for the New York Times writers who would say,
sure,
no,
sure.
there's a proper amount of dick for me.
Yeah, and then, which is weird because like you think like woke culture, they want to be inclusive of all dicks and all non-dicks.
Right.
I'm like, you'd think they'd be very pumped on the amount of dicks that has
Proper
been in
amount
my
of dicks.
career, but I don't get the amount of respect I deserve for the amount of dicks I put out there in the world.
how is Danny? He's a good dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's the
I can
shit,
see him
dude.
being, like, a fun
he's
cat.
he's awesome.
He was just on with Gillis and
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Their interview was so funny. He was like Shane was like, I'm nervous about this. We don't really do like big interviews. Like 4 minutes in, they're like, so what else, man?
Yeah,
They were talking about like taking shits and video games and like jerking
he's like
off,
the
and then
most
he was like,
normal,
that's it.
regular.
Yeah, that's what he said.
I mean, and he's just a super funny, nice guy. Like he was on my. He's what. It was. Remember Foot Fist Way, their movie that like kind of blew Danny up.
Yeah.
And so that was his like first like lead role in a movie, and he plays like this karate instructor. It's really funny. You should watch it. And I remember Anders he knew some agent, and this was back when we were doing like YouTube videos, and he comes with the DVD, and he's like, we're not going to write sketches tonight. We're going to watch this movie. I've heard it's the shit. And we watched it, and it was the first time I was like, Danny just felt like us. Like how me and my friends talk, where I'm like, we could do that. Like when Will Ferrell since he does like big characters and he was on SNL, it just didn't seem like
a bit larger than life.
Yeah, larger than life. But like Danny felt like one of the like bros who is just really funny, and you're like, oh, we can make comedies like that. Great.
When you started on YouTube, I'm assuming like doing internet.
Yeah. It was like, dude, we're so
first.
old. We're so old. It was like before YouTube, so we were just making videos, and like giving them to people.
Like fucking
Like
videos?
like, yeah, just like DVDs and handing them. Like I do stand-up shows, and then afterwards I'm like handing my sketches to people, being like, if you like it, this,
Not even selling it, just like giving it out.
yeah, giving it. Please watch this, and then YouTube came out, and we started putting it on.
Was
YouTube.
that big for you guys?
Yeah, pretty huge.
Yeah.
And that's essentially how Comedy Central found us. And they it was the executive Walter Newman who went on to Adult Swim, and he plucked us out of obscurity. And,
Were you doing like workaholic sketch type shit?
yeah,
Or like it was those
it was kind of
characters?
like us being roommates and doing like versions of that, and then
That's sick.
insane shit.
I
would
think
happen.
that it's weird now because the internet is like, it used to be like a launch pad kind of.
Yeah.
And now it's just kind of like you can just do that.
Yeah, it's just that.
You're-
Yeah, that
you
could
can
be the
launch
career.
into something else, but you could just stay on YouTube and
make more money than I ever will doing movies.
I was about to say, like,
yeah, you could be Mr. Beast. Dude,
if you could snap your fingers and like be one of those YouTube like monsters, but you don't have like the Hollywood career, would you do that?
No, I like what I.
Yeah.
Like my dream was always to do this.
There's-
So I'd have a hard time wrapping my head around like thinking of like YouTube videos. to
Also,
do.
the
I think
internet
maybe
sucks
when you're-
dick.
And I hate
Everybody
like giving
hates
away
you.
cars and houses,
Yeah.
like Mr. Beast loves to do. So I'm like, just keep it for yourself, dude. Don't give it to the Uber driver. Keep that house to yourself.
when I wonder if like kids now, because I completely agree. Like I would take like a hometown discount to go to Hollywood because that's what I grew up on. Like that was like
these other kids are like,
But like
I
kids
wanna be
now, I
Logan
wonder if
Paul.
like
I
in
wanna
15
be-
years it might be a different answer. It was like no,
Yeah.
like I want to be on YouTube.
Which is wild.
But when you're talking about working with Danny, dude, we were talking about your hunk list earlier too. Like your comedy list has to be up there with anybody's. When you because the Outlaws on Netflix, that's Happy Madison, right?
You're saying that, yeah.
And then you got Danny, obviously, Workaholics as a whole. Efron, your list of like funny people. Efron still is too pretty to get credit for as funny as. Although I think that's
funny.
kind of like turning a corner.
He's a funny dude.
Where I think it's almost been long enough where people are like, he's really funny for good looking. It's like, all right, we say that all the time.
He's
Let's just
just-
call him a funny guy.
Yeah.
But you've worked I would argue for someone your age, like a younger person, you've checked the box on like everyone.
It hasn't gone bad, you know? like you look at the grand scheme of things, it's panning out, which is so funny. Like my family cannot believe it. Like they still to this day that my dad's like, bullshit. They're letting you do that? Okay. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. They are.
That is the true sign.
Yeah, he's like,
That's
all
fucking
right.
hilarious.
Oh, bullshit. Well, they're like real movie stars. I'm like, I know, Dad. I know. Because you got to wear makeup and shit as an actor. Like, you have to wear makeup. I did a movie with Robert De Niro. I did called The Intern. And
A great
It's such a great
movie.
yeah,
movie.
and I'm not like the lead of it, but I'm in the movie and I have multiple scenes with me and De Niro. And my dad's like, De Niro, he's a real movie star. And I'm like, I know. And he goes, bet he doesn't wear makeup. And I'm like, yeah, Dad, he actually wears
absolutely
more
does.
makeup
Yeah, he's
'cause
older.
he's older. And he's like, nah, no, he doesn't. And he's like, you're probably the only one, pussy. And I'm like, that's not.
Like you go to work being like, give me the makeup.
Yeah, I only got into the business for makeup specific reasons.
That's the most dad shit ever. That like their heroes
Can't be my
were
son.
men.
Yeah.
Where it's like oh, De Niro. You think John Wayne wore makeup? Like yeah, probably.
Yeah,
Totally.
for sure, a lot of it. Yeah.
Dude, or my dad will get going about like musicians today. They'll be like, well, I don't even know what they're wearing. I'm like, dude, you like the Rolling Stones and David Bowie?
They
what
wear
are you
girl pants.
talking about?
Totally. Yeah.
dude.
It's like when men were men.
Yeah, right.
And then you cut to David Bowie as Ziggy Stardust with like stars cut out, his nipples are showing, he's wearing a fucking belly.
That's a man.
That's a real
That's when
man.
men made music back
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
That is, that.
I
that's
bet
the,
he doesn't wear makeup.
Well, yeah, it's. I feel
true
like it's.
sign of like you're. People are always, he's down to earth or he's a regular guy or whatever. If you have family that like doesn't believe you're talented,
Dude.
that's how you know.
When I told my dad, so the Pitch Perfect we just talked about it, was like a big deal for me. First studio movie that I'm going to be one of the leads of. Like, it's a big deal. And I tell my dad, and he's like, Pitch Perfect, baseball movie, nice. And I'm like, not a baseball. I wish it was a baseball movie. It'd be an easier yes for me. But it's a singing movie, and it was silent. And I'm like, Dad? I'm like, he's on speakerphone. I'm like, did I cut out? And he goes, singing movie. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, well, you can't sing worth shit. And I'm like, I'm an okay singer. I'm not a good singer. And he's like, no, you're not. You fucking suck. And I'm like, Dad, I don't. I'm like pretty good singer. Like, and he goes, bullshit, sing for me. And I'm like, I'm not singing for you. I can sing. Like, I can sing. And he goes, well, I can't sing. And I go, I know. You're not as talented as me. I'm way more talented than you. And he goes, well, I'm a better baseball player. And I'm like, it's not a baseball movie. It's a singing movie. It has nothing to do with baseball. Yeah. Yes, you were a better baseball player than me. I was hit by a cement truck. I couldn't go down that path. I was crippled. Remember when I couldn't walk for 2 years?
It wasn't exactly a stunt on the diamond, Dad.
Sorry,
Couldn't leave the
house. Maybe you shouldn't let your kids play in the streets. I could have went pro. His friends are going to tell him to watch this. He won't be able to figure it out. He'll be like, fucking son of a, the internet won't let me watch this. Dude, if it's not on Facebook, I don't know how to watch it.
That is so funny.
Also, to speak to your singing, there was a scene, I forget when it was, because I'd rewatched some of Gemstones recently, so I forget if it's the end of season 2 or start of season 3, but you're singing, and I was like, nah, it's dubbed. Like, it was, like,
he's got pipes. He's got the pipes.
It was, I forget, you're laying down on stage, and like, he came in, so like, I remember vividly, I was like, God damn, Adam's singing right now.
Did you sing growing up? I don't even know, like in
like
chorus or choir?
No, dude. And actually,
so you can just do that?
I could just do it, and I knew, because I grew up at a very Midwestern school where it was like Omaha, Nebraska. So like it was like an 80s movie where like the jocks are cool, the like burnouts were burnout, and it was like, and it was like a John Hughes movie or some shit. Right. And so I was already doing drama. And I knew that I'm like, I want girls to like me. I got to be 1 foot in, 1 foot out of this shit. And so like the choir director, because you had to sing in choir for like one of the, it's like part of, like you do gym and then you do choir for like half the semester or whatever. And so the choir director was always like, we really want you in swing choir. Like they were trying to recruit me into swing choir. And I'm like, that's gay, no way. Well, I'm like, I can't. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Flattered.
I'm already doing the drama stuff. Like I can't do both.
It's so funny though. It's like,
in hindsight, I'm like, I could have just done both.
That's what I mean. Like I feel like it's probably, I hope it's changed a little bit. Like I grew up in the same era where it's like sports, whatever. Yeah. Whereas like now I'm like, I think singing and acting is like the coolest shit in the fucking world.
Yeah.
Like someone who can do that is
my
like
wife grew up
talented.
she like went to like high school in California. And she was like, oh, like the swing choir, those were the
cool
fucking
shit.
cool kids in my school. And I'm like, it was so the opposite of
90s
that.
Omaha, Nebraska?
No. 90s in Omaha, it was a much different thing.
Our school was, they weren't necessarily the cool kids, because I went to a very small school, so like everyone kind of intermixed, except for the theater kids, and it was just they were the mean kids. Like they would only sit there at lunch table, they wouldn't hang out, so everyone kind of feared them. They didn't necessarily weren't cool. It'd make them cool.
Yeah.
Scary. They weren't cooler than me.
Well, they like also like might wear trench coats or something.
Like, make sure you're friends with them.
They like write Columbine on their notebooks or something. Like, we gotta stay away, steer clear from these kids.
I always remember in 30 Rock, there's an episode where they go back to Tina Fey's high school reunion, and it's a great episode. Jack Donaghy pretends to be a guy. It's awesome. But the whole school, Tina Fey's going back being like, they all hated me. They're all like, I was a loser. And the whole school's like, no, you were incredibly mean. And then they're doing like flashbacks to her like mumbling about like people's moms dying of cancer and stuff like that. And like that's how the theater kids were at our school. They were like the mean kids who you were just scared of.
Yeah, I feel like it was like. I feel like it was probably more accepting than I'm even like telling.
Yeah,
Sure,
yeah.
I mean, a lot of that is
story.
probably in your own head. And,
Yeah, but I'm
and
like, there was a kid that just wore a cape. So like, so it was like,
come on, man,
like,
help me help you, bro.
it was like for sure that
Meanwhile,
kid was. You're like,
that
well,
dude-
if you just took the cape off, it would help all of us.
Right.
Like
that guy would probably have like 10 million TikTok followers today.
or we all have to wear capes.
One of these things is a lot easier. Everyone has to buy a cape, or you just stop.
you just take that off, or we all have to get capes. In hindsight, cool look. But no.
I know I'm sure you've talked about it a million times, but you brought up the cement truck thing, and it's just it's one.
I won't shut up about it.
You shouldn't.
It's a real talking point.
I
for
won't
me.
shut up about it because when you. This is a terrible thing to say, but getting to tell other people for the first time, that is amazing. Whenever
It's a fun
if you're watching a movie or someone's like,
bomb
"Oh, I
drop.
love that movie," I'm like, "You know, I was wrecked by a cement truck."
Yeah,
and
it's
they're like,
fun.
"Wait, what? No way!" Yeah, look it up. Boom, ran over.
Yeah,
I mean,
fun knowledge to drop. Yeah, it was a good excuse in high school because I was a good little kid baseball player, right? But like probably wouldn't have been that good. Like
now that it's all potential.
yeah.
Potential
So then
wasted.
after that, it would have been like, oh, well, I would have been the star shortstop. Goddamn knees. Yeah,
You have that
If I
unscratched lottery ticket.
yeah,
Yes.
totally. It was like,
Yes.
well, I wasn't fourth grade all-star, but yeah. Did I hit 2 home runs in fourth grade? Yeah, I did. But they're like, with the short fence? Yeah, the short fence.
It went over.
Yeah, but everybody had the short fence.
That could have been your villain origin story, and instead
It
it's
could have been,
like,
yeah.
I mean, truly though, I
It
don't know
was.
how
It
you, how
actually
you
like,
stayed.
it sucks because I still have to deal with health issues from
Sure,
it,
yeah.
and like there's like weird shit that happens with my body because everything's a little off. But I wouldn't trade it in because, like,
Wait, for real?
I for real wouldn't because I wouldn't be talking with you guys here at Barstool.
Promoting the
and-
Outlaws on Netflix.
Yeah, on Netflix, July 7th. That should be top of mind. But yeah, no, like really, because like super blue collar family, no one like going to college is like whoa, look at him go.
Right.
So to like move to Hollywood to pursue
Forget
a
it.
career in acting wouldn't have been. But
But do you think that was because of that? Like, I mean,
after, my parents told me, they were like, yeah, it's because you got hit by the damn cement truck that we were like, hey, he didn't die. Yeah, go follow your dreams.
Oh,
We owe him one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we got
let
you
him
back.
play in the street. So, yeah.
holy shit! I was gonna say, what's the correlation? But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
guess
think
if your
it was
family
pretty,
really.
yeah, because like we didn't know anyone west of Omaha. So like to move to California,
And when
which was
did
like
you
the
do
first
that?
time any of us had been there, where it was like,
Yeah.
I saw a girl smoking a joint, sunbathing topless. The day I signed my lease when I was 18 years old, I'm like, this is the greatest place. And by the way, I've never seen that since. I was like, was she just there welcoming like 18-year-old boys? It was like the apartment complex hired this woman to just whip her tits out and smoke a joint and be like, this is normal here.
See this every day, kid.
Yeah.
So Kumail Nanjiani talks about first time he came to America was the Macy's Day Parade. Oh, really? And he's like, it's just like the movies. This place is crazy.
Dude, I did the
Wait,
Macy's Day. I'm sorry.
Well, sorry to interrupt, but like you went out on a whim at 18, or did you have like a role, or like did you get a little
No.
something at home?
No,
You-
and I
you were just
wasn't like
I'm gonna go be a movie
You hear
star.
how like Ashton Kutcher was like spotted in a mall, and they're
Right.
like, you have
What the
to
fuck?
be a star. And then
Yeah.
like his first audition was for that '70s show, and they're like, I'm not that good looking. Like it took me a long time to like find
Yeah.
my way, and I just moved here. I moved to California and met Blake and Kyle Newacek, who we created Workaholics with, like day one at community college.
Wow.
In improv class, and I was like, the guy with the little afro was like really funny, so I started chopping it up with him.
Honestly, that's one of those stories in its own right. Day one of community college, you meet these two guys. That's as lucky as him in a fucking mall. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, for sure. Like, and it was like, we say that all the time about each other. We're like, the reason we made it is because we had each other, and like you were always pushing that person to
except
to
for Blake, who was like, "Don't do these movies."
Well, yeah. but it was like actively going like, well, he's writing that thing, so I'm going to write this thing, and like you're constantly making each other, you know.
Did it ever get competitive though? Like in a toxic way where it was like was there any
they might hate me. I'm wearing all white. I got the rolling on.
Why did
I'm
you
wearing
just
all
say
white.
no to the all white? It clearly is. At the end of the day, it's not going to bother you right now.
No, I don't think so. Like they're like those guys, like my brothers, and you just want them to win. Yeah. And none of us have gotten like that.
Right.
Like I feel like if one of us
left you in the dust or something.
If like Durs was like Brad Pitt level fucking famous, and we're like, well, fucking put us in some goddamn thing. I feel like we're all
right. So the doing the Outlaws, you are doing like action scenes and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Is that something you think you can you be like a action star?
Matt Damon has to get old sometime. Yeah, and I'm like fat him, so I'm the comedy. I'm like Matt Damon, Mark Wahlberg, like smush them together, add 40 pounds. I'm that guy.
There you go.
Yeah, dude, that's like my favorite comedies are like action comedies.
Yeah.
You know, like Lethal Weapon and 48 Hours, and all those are my favorite. So. Yeah, that'd be the goal.
I mean, I do feel like the sky's the limit these days. Like, once you get in, if you have the talent and kind of like the work. Like, I think back in the day, it used to be like you had to look a certain way and talk a certain way and have an accent or whatever. And now I don't think that's really the case. And I think you could be, as long as you're talented enough and like, know the right people, do it the right way. I feel like that's like attainable.
Well, yeah, I mean, and Netflix has been like really cool. They've always been very supportive. They've let us make Game Over Man, which was like an insane movie. Like in hindsight, looking back at it, I'm like, that was fucking insane. Like I sliced a man's face off in a meat slicer. Like my multiple dicks were cut off. Like my dick was out for like several minutes in the movie, and they like let us do it. And then like
you can run out of a closet with your dick out.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Well, the bit is that like the hotel's getting taken over by terrorists, and they're like, we're sort of trapped in this room. And we're like, what do we do? We got to hide. And I whip my belt off and I'm like, I got an idea. And I go, and you're like, what? And then these two guys come in and they're like looking around and then they open up the closet and it's me. I autoerotic asphyxiated myself and I'm hanging there in the closet as if I'm dead with my dick in my hand.
Dude, I knew it was fucking great.
Yeah.
Fucking insane. They let you do that.
Yeah. And it's like my actual cock in my hand. And it was like right before intimacy coordinators.
I was going to say, you must have snuck that in on the wire.
Right before it became like a whole thing. And then I like go to Video Village. It was supposed to be like a closed, I don't give a shit. But it was like a closed set. Man's dick is going to be out. And then I go out there. It's like our transpo captain is standing there being like, crazy shit, man. There's like 25 people just like eating craft services around the monitor as my dick's fucking.
You don't care about that? It doesn't bother you? You're just like, whatever.
I wish I don't wish, but it bothers me so little, and it weirds me out that it bothers some people. Like Newacek, who's our director, was like, dude, are you sure you want to have your dick out? And I'm like, yeah, who cares? My dick. And I think my butthole's out in it too. Like I get hit and my legs go up over my head and I'm butt ass naked. I'm like,
butthole is crazy.
Yeah.
Dick out is one thing. Hole out is another, dude.
I didn't like spread my cheeks. I wasn't like a close up on my asshole, but
it was a closed asshole. I very recently on this show made a promise that you'll never see my butthole, and I'm gonna stick with it. But
all right,
you can't make the same promise.
Then you're not gonna make movie magic. Adam, dude.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. You won't have a #1 movie on Netflix for 2 weekends in a row like we did with Game Over Man. Sorry about it.
Fuck, you're funny. Man.
Oh, God damn it.
Did you ever do? You said you did. Early on, were you doing stand up? You said.
Yeah.
Like-
I did. I have a Netflix special.
Oh, yeah, that's right, that's right.
It came out in like
Yeah.
18 or 19.
Yeah.
But I haven't got been doing it. I just got so busy with like acting work,
that's
and I
gotta be
always said like I'm never gonna stop. And then like you get so busy with acting work, and then they're like, you should go do a spot, and you're like, fuck off.
Fuck that. Yeah.
I've been working all goddamn week. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna go to like do 10 minutes, at the comedy store.
And that's one of those things that's like, if you're gonna do it, you should do it.
Do it, really do it.
Yeah.
Because like, what are you getting out of just
half-assing that?
half-assing?
The crowd hates it, you hate it.
But then like
you know.
other people, like older, like Chris Tucker told me, he was like, never stop doing it. That's how you keep your finger on the pulse of like what's funny. Because like once you start to make like, who knows if I'm ever gonna make Chris Tucker money, because he made like $50 million on like the second Rush Hour movie. But like, but he was like, you like will lose.
I can understand that for certain people.
Yeah.
I think the dude who's gonna autoerotic asphyxiate himself and show his asshole is not.
But look at me now. I'm wearing all white.
All white. All white.
Yeah, so I am changing. I'm wearing creams and whites.
I don't think you have to worry about.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I don't know how or why. I've talked to a bajillion people in this industry, and it just seems like some of them are cool.
Yeah.
And some of them are cooler than others. And
Well, it's like anything.
And
It's
it's just
like
like
any. Like our industry isn't special.
Right, there's
I mean, it's
assholes,
just like
there's-
more people like go get you coffee and like kiss your ass, but like.
But I can see where like you do start to get success. You take certain things for granted, and certain things become normal to you, and you do lose your pulse and whatever.
Well,
but then there are people who just like I think you could become like Brad Pitt, and you just still would be like that funny dude who got hit by a cement truck.
Well, for sure, but I mean, I have changed. I like look at like Coach when I'm flying, and I'm like,
But that's like,
I can't imagine.
We all do that.
Pretzels and
That's different than like I'm no longer. You could walk into a party, a bar, a room, a fucking whatever, and just like do it.
Yeah,
from
do you
now
guys
to the end
do?
of time.
Because you guys are probably going through like a similar thing that we went through like the first few seasons of Workaholics, where like bros are just like, what? Fuck!
Yeah, I always tell people like within our bubble, it's like seriously famous. You know what I mean? So it's like we can walk into 99% of the rooms we walk into, nobody's gonna know. But the 1% will walk in, we will be
It'll
treated
just be a busboy
like
who just
fucking,
like drops a tray like,
and it's like, and then people who don't get it are like, what the fuck is going
dude,
on?
that was Workaholics like to a
Yeah,
T. We didn't even know. It was like season 1 came out, and then in LA, people don't really care because they see like
everybody all the time.
the time. So they're like, oh yeah, fucking Comedy Central kid. All right, here's your coffee. What you know? But then we went to Bonnaroo that year, and they were like security was like, what are you guys on?
that kind of stuff.
And we're like
Security, or
Workaholics, and
people
meanwhile,
running
like
events. Yeah.
thousands, like they tore the fence down to get back in the comedy. It was just like thousands of kids like, tight bottle. It was like the zombie apocalypse of kids on fucking Molly and mushrooms. Like,
that, and also just the fact that it's always dudes. I was like, if I was gay, we would have.
Close shop.
It was never a girl. Now it's getting a little bit better with that, but there was a time where. You know, the worst would be like a guy's like, can I get a picture? And then you turn to the girlfriend or just the girl there, and it's like, do you want one too? And they're like, no, I'm
good.
Don't know who you are.
Yeah.
I'll
We're fine.
spit on you.
The best one I ever had is I was at a Bruins Islanders hockey game on Long Island. And this is back when they were at the Coliseum, so there's like 2 bathrooms. Bathroom lines are crazy. And I'm in the bathroom line for like the entire, in between the second and third period. And like probably like 5-10 like dudes come to take a picture of me. And with me, I don't know if I said of me, with me. And finally the guy, like just like a Long Island, probably a cop, finally turns around, big Bud Light tall boy, just goes, who the fuck are you, Ed Sheeran? And then burps in my face. And I was like, all right.
What's cool is that guy knows Ed Sheeran.
The guy who's going to sell out the highest number in 5 years.
Killer Paul. He's like, I'm actually a big fan of Ed.
Speaking out loud really does touch my
his
soul.
acoustic
kind
set.
of a bit of a pull on Marvin Gaye, if you ask me.
His acoustic set at iHeart last year really took me to a place. Anyways, fuck you.
Oh man. Well, it's great, dude. It's fun watching one of the good guys get like a full career and a lot of success in all different things.
Yeah, they haven't.
You were
yet.
one of our first like real interviews. I don't even know if you remember. It was you and the guys at Sirius back in the day.
Yeah, that's what. Because I was like, I followed. I followed the show, and then I follow you when you do your like rants.
Yeah.
You're like,
1 minute,
what
man.
is it? 1 minute. And I was like, have we ever done anything? And my manager just reminded me.
I think
of
it was
that.
like
it was like
we
way
didn't know.
back. It was like way
long
back
time
in the
ago.
day.
We didn't know how
that
to
you guys
interview.
were serious.
I don't even want to listen to that back. I'm sure it's terrible.
I literally think you're our second ever interview. Like
I
you,
love
the three
that.
of you. Like I think we did Nikolai Coster-Waldau.
He's Jamie Lannister from Game of Thrones.
Right.
Which was
pretty
crazier.
cool. Yeah.
He's like
he
a
was
real
on our show
actor.
promoting Game of Thrones first ever guest.
Oh, really?
like first of all, they
And
probably
you're
don't
like,
need
you
to
guys
promote-
ride like horses on the show? Or what's like how heavy are those swords?
I think we had like 37 seconds with him.
and it was just us berating him for being too pretty.
Yeah, dude.
Like, oh, you're hot. Fuck that.
Yeah,
He's like, all right,
fuck
get
you.
me out of here, dude.
Yeah.
This sucks.
I know. I was like, we used to not be discerning with the amount of because it's like
take 'em
no
all.
one knew who
Yeah,
we were, so we're like,
absolutely.
we just got to get out of there, and I'll like
that's
every
why
once
you
in a while,
did us.
yeah, totally. Every once in a while, like someone will send me like an old interview, and I'm like, we were interviewed in like an alleyway. I'm like, where was this interview being conducted? Like, there was no studio or anything. I wasn't even wearing all white. Like I'm not even. Was I even an actor at that point? I was wearing a G-Shock watch. Ew, dude.
This interview's for sure gonna be called All Whites. All right, man. So the Outlaws is on Netflix July 7th.
That's right.
Righteous Gemstones, the comedy special. Anything else? Jesus Christ.
This is important.
This is important podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, check it out. Yeah,
Just
for
cut-
people that
just-
love.
you can do the podcasting, just don't sponsor it. Okay? Just don't make any money off it.
Yeah,
Deal?
we're going to. We're real. Yeah, we're greedy. We need more.
Motherfuckers. You're gonna end up making more money for that than you do in Hollywood. Bullshit.
And then for people that like Pitch Perfect, I'm doing a show called Bumper in Berlin, and the first season came out. It's on Peacock.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, so it's like my character moves to Berlin to like resurrect his
Let's fucking go.
Singing career. It's pretty fun. It's insane. I like lived in Germany last year for like
Holy
4 months.
shit! As
Yeah.
a diehard Troublemaker fan, I'm
Yeah, you check it out.
disappointed in myself.
Yeah, Bumper
so
in
you
Berlin.
you were in Germany shooting that.
Yeah, I was lived in Berlin at like the Soho House in Berlin for like 4 months. It was awesome.
Hell
and
yeah.
I weirdly took German in high school, so I knew how to
What
say
the
that.
fuck? That's kind of like a red flag. It's like,
I just read Mein Kampf. And,
want to read it in its original text.
You go from history class to fucking German class.
yeah. I closed the book.
I
I'm like,
wanna write its
really
original
interesting.
tongue.
I have to talk to these guys. I don't know why I chose it. I literally think, I honestly didn't know why. It was 8th grade, and you have to take like Spanish, French, German, and I think that's it. And to figure out what class
you
you want to
try
take in
out
high
all
school,
three of them,
we
or
tried out. You do like this.
Weird.
Yeah. And
There's a hot chick in German.
and German was the option. There must be like a bunch of German people in Omaha or some shit. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
was gonna say, I don't know that.
So there was a magazine that the teacher passed around, and there was like paper clipped shut. I'm like, what the fuck is on paper? And it was just like naked women.
Hell yeah.
Because Germany's cool like that. It's just like naked
Yo, Germany
people like
gets weird
selling
with that
selling jewelry, and it's just like a naked woman with a bracelet. And I'm like, I gotta be part of
Yes.
this culture. And that's why my horny little like 8th grade brain was like, I'm studying German. Ich spreche Sie Deutsch. Yeah, so I gotta. It was Berlin is a really funny place. If you gotta go there. It's like, it's what you think. It's like regular. Well, it's fun shooting a show there because you just meet like a grip, like a guy who's like running cables and setting up lights, and he's just like a normal dude, but he speaks German. And then you also see the guys that are like look like Neo from the fucking Matrix, just like buying milk, and you're like, that guy's just out in the streets like that. And you'd see they have these like crazy like clubs that like people piss on each other, like legitimately.
They get wild.
And people are like me and my wife were going to dinner, and it's like a nice restaurant, and they're like, yeah, the club's opened back up because it was COVID, you know?
Yeah.
And they just opened back up. You have to go. They're so fun. The piss parties. And then they go, okay, your table's ready.
What?
It was the piss
Like just
parties.
the hostess will just say
Yeah.
that.
Oh, the table's ready. And we're like, what the fuck are the piss parties? Yeah, so...
You go to one?
I was gonna say,
we didn't go to one.
That is. I mean, I'm assuming it's
I was like,
a
season
full-blown
2,
orgy.
we're going to the piss party.
Bumpers on people.
Yeah, so...
That is.
And at the restaurant, there's like, they eat dinner at like midnight because they go to the club at like 1 and then they stay there all night. And you just see a man like in like S&M gear with his like nipples pierced and like a chain connecting them. And then the chain that goes down here, they're like, 1 second. And he's just eating rotisserie chicken. Just eating a rotisserie chicken, just covered in grease, like wearing assless chaps, like at a bar stool. And you're just like, it's tight. It's cool.
It's tight,
Bumper in
list.
Berlin. Check it out on Peacock.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Yeah,
Man. We appreciate
awesome,
it.
guys. Thanks
so
for having
much,
me.
dude.
Thank you.
Piss party. All right, big thanks for watching. If you made it through this whole episode, that means you should be subscribed. There's so many of you out there who watch and don't subscribe, so make sure you are a KFC Radio subscriber. Make sure you get all the content when it drops. Click that button now.
I have 9 fingers. I'm still subscribed. It's that easy.